Welcome to the Apply Pressure Podcast with yours truly, Transformer Chris. Here, we dig deep and go beyond the surface, uncover what's hidden, talk straight, no fluff, share secrets, give advice, and keep it all the way real regarding life. Listen, sis, I know you be busy doing what you do, but child boo, I really need to talk to you. Welcome back, guys, for our very first episode of Season 3 of the Apply Pressure Podcast. You guys had a whole month free of new episodes, so I hope y'all got caught up. I have to admit, though, I really did miss y'all. But I was able to get some much needed me time and to sit back and reflect and do some brainstorming for this brand new season that we're starting together. So I want to thank you all for tuning back in with me. And if you're someone that's new here, we are extremely excited to have you. But there is a catch. And that catch is that now that you're here, you can't leave us. No, we are a community and we form long-lasting bonds together. So welcome to our transformation chamber. So over our little break, I was sitting back and I was working on a project and started going over the timeline of my life when I realized how much stuff I actually did and how extensive and broad my resume was. The many ventures I took and all of the different avenues that I traveled down regarding career choices and what it led me to today. People will tell you that you need to pick one thing and to pour your everything into that. Give it all of your time and all of your energy. Give it all of your focus in order for it to one day pay off for you. They'll tell you to get rid of all of the options and that you need to settle down and make a decision. I get the intention behind it because they want you to eventually get to a place in life where you're not spread so thin that there's not enough of you left to get to the areas of your life that really need it. But what I'm learning is that even in our good intentions, we have to tread lightly and be very careful, especially when we have people's lives hanging in the balance. In many cases, if you're not cautious with how you handle people's destiny, you can end up doing more of a disservice than you actually anticipated. When I consider all that I've been through, looking back over my life journey thus far, I realized that it took all of that to get me to where I'm at today. It took all of that for me to become the person that I am right here and now. Just think, in order for me to have the wisdom that I have today and to be able to speak on the various different topics that I talk about on these podcast episodes, I would have had to been through some things before. I would have had to experience some things in order to be able to share this way, or to teach on this level, or to relate to you all. I can recall a time when God spoke to me and he told me that he was making me to be a tour guide for women all across the world and to help them to transition from a place of being stuck and dormant into a place of thriving in their calling. What I'm able to understand now that I wasn't able to see then was that the only way for me to be able to truly do that was for me to have gone through it first. I understand now that a lot of what I experienced and have been through is because I'm going to encounter those kind of people along the way. People that get caught up in similar circumstances. And those people, they will be my tribe. The ones that I will be responsible for. The ones that I have to lend a hand to. Because I know firsthand what they're dealing with. Because I've been through it. Although I must say that I do understand and have myself stress the importance of having focus on the task at hand, because if you're constantly divided, you will never be whole. So now I'm more careful when giving advice on this because it's a very fine line when you're dealing with this subject matter. I also need you to understand that when you pivot or switch lanes or decide to change your course, when you decide to pick up another trade or learn something new, it's not always that you're dividing your focus. Sometimes you're just shifting your focus into the direction that you're now seeking to go. I think problems occur when you become double-minded and instead of shifting focus, you try to straddle the fence. And now you're driving in between lanes, and that's how collisions happen. It's not against the law to switch lanes. You can do that. But it is a traffic violation when you try to coast in between two. The point being is that You don't have to despise where you've been because those roles brought you this far, but your full attention will be required for where you're heading now. Everything that you have been through has been for a purpose, so don't discount any of it. And know that your journey is not always going to be a straight shot. Sometimes you're going to have to make some turns. You may have to make some sudden maneuvers and pivot here and there. You can at some point even find that you're going in the wrong direction and you may need to turn around. But understand that even in that, all hope isn't lost because you're able to learn from your mistakes and you then grab from your experiences and they shape you and they mold you. When I look at all of the different business ventures I've been through, like how I have worked at several different jobs that have no similarities, like literally not one thing has anything to do with the other. I've been a cashier, a utilities agent dealing with waste, a catering agent where I was responsible for food. I've been a hairstylist. I've been a money clerk. I've been a security guard, a bus driver. I've been a business owner of various products and services, from serving Italian ice to retailing online fashion. I've even managed to transition from working in those fields to sticking my toe into the frightening world of entrepreneurship, where I'm now doing motivational speaking and mentoring, coaching, and writing books. Now, to an outsider, it could appear that I was confused. Like, why so much? But on the flip side, if you look at how much I was able to gain by being exposed to all of those different areas, you'll see that it all had a purpose in my life. I was able to practice patience in one area and learn how to be assertive in another. Certain positions develop boldness, whereas another developed leadership. You see, all of those areas was developing me for my ultimate purpose, which is God's calling on my life. So I don't want you to feel like because you may not know from the beginning what your purpose is, that everything that you've been doing thus far hasn't been helping you and preparing you for it, because it has. Year after year, I've got asked questions like, why I do what I do? Why did I take the job that I took? What made me become a bus driver? People would say things like, weren't you doing security? Wait, I thought you had an online fashion boutique. So how is it that you're now writing books and coaching? And honestly, y'all, for a while, I can't lie, I actually felt stumped by those questions. I couldn't make sense of it for myself. I felt like, wait a minute, I did do all of those different things. Maybe I wasn't supposed to. Maybe I was supposed to pick one out of those many different jobs and pursue that alone. The whole ordeal and everyone's opinion made me feel as though I was confused or like I was a little crazy. I even stopped to analyze myself like, wait, am I really all over the place like that? If I initially started out in one field or one specific industry, how did I end up going so far left? It wasn't until later on in life that I realized that it's because I have ambition. Ambition will make you travel. How many of y'all listening feel me on that? Ambition will make you elevate. Ambition will make you pivot. It'll make you grind. Ambition will make you take a chance and step out of the boat to make moves. So now, looking at the whole thing from a different perspective, I now know that the reason I dabbled in so many different business ventures is because ambition made me do it. Ambition gave me the audacity to be willing to try my hand in different arenas. I was able to grab something while in all of those different places of my life and take it along the way. So that when I finally got to the place where I'm now operating in my calling, I have all of these tools to bring along with me. It comes as no surprise to me that my calling is to be a coach and a mentor and to help people in their areas of transition, because I know what it's like to travel through different phases of life. I know what it's like to have to pivot and to make drastic changes. I know what it takes to start over and to re-strategize and to look crazy to people. So I encourage you to let your ambition drive you, because it will drive you all the way to success if you let it. Success is not an overnight trip. I had to learn that the hard way. I'm still striving for it. It's constant attempts to win despite the many losses. Don't allow the detours of life to make you abort your mission. If God continues to gift you with the ability to be innovative, make sure you do your due diligence to produce it. So don't live life feeling like you have to contain the blessings that you have been given because it doesn't fit into the mold that you put on yourself. You may be called to an arena that's not familiar to you, something that the people around you have yet to see. It may feel strange or look different. You may look like you're all over the place, but trust and believe that if God put it in you, he put it in you for a reason. And I can guarantee you that it wasn't to lie dormant, but to be utilized to the best of your ability, to produce something great in you. It's not always going to look like what we thought because that's not how our faith gets tested. Think about it like this. If everything was evident to us, then it wouldn't be blind. And the last time I checked, faith was defined as the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Stop looking for it to be visible. Stop looking for it to make sense. Stop looking for it to be easy. That's not faith. I know we all like to hear the stories where people talk about how they've been doing what they've been doing for years, operating in their purpose since they were 2 years old, since they was a baby. But the reality is that in most cases, that's not the way it happens. In most cases, the real deal stories outside of the fairy tales sound more like, I never saw myself doing this before. It took a lot for me to get here. This was something I didn't want to do or think I could do. I'm really not even 100% sure how I got here. The majority of success stories that I've heard personally sound more like that, even though the popular ones make you believe that the person knew all along what they was called to do. A lot of time, those different arenas that you enter and the various turns that you make along the way, and the places that you took pit stops at, those are the places that are developing, grooming, shaping, and molding you to one day look like your purpose. And the transition will happen so subtly that you won't even see it coming. Had I not did those list of things that I named, I wouldn't be able to host this platform today. The words that you hear coming out of my mouth right now wouldn't even exist. The only reason that I'm able to do what I do is because of what I've been through. One thing prompts the next. Everything has a purpose and God has a bigger plan than you could ever imagine. If you are an ambitious person, I urge you to keep pursuing the things that you are called to do. Because although it may not be your final destination, it could very well be a big and important part of your amazing journey. If you skip steps or cut stuff out, you miss pieces of the puzzle that you need at the end. So even when you're scared or feel unsure, even if everyone around you is looking at you like you're crazy because you got so much going on, even if all you have is half of the puzzle in every single area, don't be dismayed. Because the reality is, gathering a piece here and there will eventually come together to make a whole. You know, I really had no clue what I was good at the beginning. It wasn't until after I did a handful of things that I was able to figure that out. How do you expect to ever know what your calling is if you're too afraid to give anything a shot? It's your time now to rise and to be confident. It's your time to make a move. Pay attention to the results that you get after you take the test. Everybody worried about the test. I want you to pay attention to the results of the test. That will be the indicator of what you're actually good at. Whenever I come across someone struggling with figuring out what their purpose is, I always ask a series of questions to help them identify it. What are you good at? What is it that you do with ease? What do people seek you out in regards to? What do you find pleasure in doing that serves others? I ask these questions because if you look at the success stats that you're producing in those areas, you'll find it much easier to pinpoint what your purpose is. And once you can identify what your purpose in life is, you are then able to practice and develop it. Once you develop it, You're able to pull from all of the areas that you've been through that helped you get to that place, and it'll help to fortify you so that you're able to stand firm in the thing that you were put on this earth to do. Do not allow your past to rob you of your future. Make your past the pillar for your future. When you are a go-getter or a trailblazer, when you are a forerunner or a trendsetter, a world changer, you can't quit. You can't settle down. You can't take it all the way easy and just go with the flow like everybody say you should, because ambition won't let you. When you're called to be great, words like regular and ordinary, mundane and simple, words like basic and impossible, just don't sit right with us. It's unsettling to our spirits. And this is why they tell you to get around people that are going where you are going and doing what you are doing. It's not that they just want you to leave behind the people that you've always known. It's not that. It's because anyone not on the same page as you will unknowingly hold you back. Can't nobody push you anywhere that they're not willing to go themselves. And they can never pull you anywhere that they haven't themselves already been. Okay, ladies, that's it for this week's episode. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you stay caught up and don't miss out on what's next. If you're enjoying this atmosphere, be sure to go and leave your girl a review. That way this platform can continue to evolve and build a strong network of empowered women of purpose. Until next time, hop over to my website. Make sure you subscribe and capture all the latest products and free giveaways by visiting www.crystalmetellus.com. Also, connect with me on social media @crystalmetellus. Talk to you later, sis.